In this video, I would like to discuss with you paper 2, question number 2, year 2015, economics. Economics paper 2, Q2. Economics paper 2, Q2. 2015. Right, economics 2015, paper 2, Q2. Paper 2, Q2. Right. Q2 part 1. What factors are held constant? What factors are held constant in drawing a market supply curve? What factors are held constant? What factors are held constant? Held constant when drawing a supply curve. Right. What factors are held constant when drawing the supply curve? Right. Now this is supply curve. We can have different type of supply curve depending on elasticity, but in the simple supply, this is Q quantity, this is P, the supply curve. Normally, supply curve here Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, P1, P2, P3, P4. Normally, supply curve has upward moving nature, upward moving from left to right. This is the nature of supply curve. This has upward moving nature from left to right. This supply curve. When you draw this supply curve, we have to have constant some factors. That is the answer. At the examination, you don't need to draw this diagram. For to understand, I just drew this diagram. Our question is what factors are held constant when drawing the supply curve? Right. Then there are some factors which we assume that they are held constant. Right. Then number one, resources. Resources which are used to produce the goods, right? The resources which are used to produce the goods, that is number one. The resources which are used to produce the goods and resources are held constant. We assume that we can't actually increase. Then if we get resources which are used to produce the goods and services, then that means actually prices. Okay, prices. Resources which are used to produce goods and services. That means, again, the prices of resources which are used to produce goods and services also remain constant, because our cost of production will depend on prices of the resources. Therefore, factor one which we held constant, the prices of resources which are used to produce goods and services. Prices of resources which are used to produce goods and services. Prices. Then government policies. Government policies also we assume to be held constant, to help constant. Under that, we can take tax policies, taxation policies, and subsidies, government policies. We assume that they are also held constant. Example, taxation policies, subsidies. Right. Then technology. Technology also we assume it is held constant. Number of suppliers. Number of suppliers in the market. Right. Number of suppliers available in the market also we assume held constant when you draw the supply curve. Prices of resources which are used to produce the goods. Government policies, example, taxation policies, subsidies, technology, number of suppliers in the market. Then we assume that they are held constant when you draw the supply curve. Then we assume that prices of related goods are also held constant. Prices of related goods are also we assume to be held constant. For example, prices of substitutes, and complementary goods. Right? Then, what are the factors which are held constant when you draw the supply curve? Number one, prices of resources which are used to produce the goods and services. Then, government policies, for example, taxation policies and subsidies. Technology, we assume that technology also is to be held constant. The number of suppliers in the market also should be held constant. Then prices related goods, prices of related goods. For example, prices of substitute goods and complementaries. Right. That is the answer for question number 2, 2015, part A. Right, part A. Right. Next question, part 2, Roman number 2, 2015, paper 2, section A, question number 2, part 2. Describe how the income and substitution effect explain the law of demand. Describe the law of supply. Right. Describe the law of demand by using substitution effect. And I will read the question again. Describe how the incumbent substitution effect. Describe how the incumbent. Describe the income and substitution effect. Substitution effect. Describe the income and substitution effect. Explain the law of demand. Describe the income and substitution effect. Explain the law of demand. Right. law of demand. Right. We have to explain law of demand and again describe the income and substitution effect. Right. Then, what is law of demand? Law of demand explains the relationship between price of the commodity or product and quantity demanded. When the price of the product increases, the quantity demanded will decline. When the price of the commodity will fall or decreases, quantity demanded will increase. That is what law of demand explains. If I repeat the same thing, when the price of product X increases, then QD decreases. When the price of product X decreases, QD will increase. That is what law of demand explains. When the price of the commodity increases, the quantity demanded from that product will decrease. When the price of the commodity will come down or decreases, the quantity demanded from that product will increase. That is what law of demand explains. Therefore, when you draw this diagram, this is P and this is Q quantity 0. This is our demand curve. Normally, demand curve has a downward movement from left to right. Normally, we have got a downward movement from left to right. You can just explain. This is a higher price, P1 higher price. This is the Q quantity demand from this product. The X, the demand curve for product X, then when you decrease the price from P1 to P2, our quantity will increase. Therefore, there will be downward movement. If we just take P3 price like this, our quantity demand will come down. Therefore, from this point, there will be downward movement. When the price increases, upward movement. When the price of the commodity decreases from P1 to P2, on demand will increase. That is downward movement. When the price of the commodity will increase from P1 to P3, then our on demand will decrease from Q to Q3. That is, then you have got upward movement. Therefore, normally our demand curve has downward movement from left to right. This is law of demand. But at the examination, no need to draw this diagram. You can just explain law of demand and describe income and substitution effect. Right. What is actually income effect? When the price of product increases, people's real income will come down. When the price of the product PX will increase, the real income will come down. Real income is the number of goods which we can purchase from the same product at the current price, real income. So that the value of number of goods and services which we bought at the current income. Therefore, when the price of product increases, our real income will come down. Then, when the price of product decreases, our real income will increase. That means the number of goods which you can buy from the same income will increase. That is the income effect. It happens because of law of demand. When the price of the product increases, the number of items which we can buy at the same income will come down. That means our real income will come down. When the price of the product will come down or decreases, the real income will increase. That means the number of items which we can buy at the same income will increase. That is substitution effect. You have to explain that at the examination. Then, what is substitution effect? You know, when the price of the product PS increases, the people will buy less from the related product because buying other products, like buying other product, if it is PX, we have other product substitutes. You just take A, B, C, D, like other product prices may be lower than the related price. Therefore, people will move to buy other products and they will buy less from our concerned product. Other way around, when the price of the product, concerned product decreases, the people will leave other substitutes because the substitute products prices will be higher than our concerned product. Therefore, people will buy from our concerned product more and more. Then the demand for concerned product will increase. That is how we can express substitution effect. I will repeat the same answer. When the price of the product increases, people will reduce buying from concerned product and they will move to other substitutes because their prices are less than our concerned product. Other way around, when the price of our concerned product decreases, people will buy more and more from our concerned product because the prices of other substitutes will be higher than our concerned product. Therefore, they will leave those products and come to buy our concerned product. That is how we can explain income and substitution effect. Income and substitution effect. Right. Then part 3, distinguish between a price floor and price ceiling, and give an example for each. Price ceiling and price floor. Price ceiling and price floor. Right. Price ceiling and price floor. What is price ceiling and what is price floor? Right. At the examination, if you are asked to produce the diagram you draw, otherwise you can just explain. But here I am going to draw a diagram for you to understand. This is actually our demand curve, DD. This is price, this is quantity. Right. Then you just suppose this is the market equilibrium, quantity and P. Right. Then what is price ceiling? Normally it is also minimum price. Price ceiling, normally we take then the maximum price. Price ceiling. Price ceiling, you just take price ceiling, that is maximum price. Maximum price. Price ceiling is maximum price. It will be below the market equilibrium price. Normally, that is Q2, because of price ceiling, quantity demanded will increase. Then if you take these 2 points, because of price ceiling, there will be downward movement along the demand. Normally, government apply price ceiling or maximum price to protect the consumers, the buyers. because sometimes there can be black market prices in the market. Producers or sellers or suppliers will charge higher prices. Then, to protect consumers or buyers, government will decide price ceiling or maximum price. For example, if we take essential food items, rice, milk powders, bread, dal, normally government decides maximum price to protect consumers or buyers. This is how we can explain price ceiling. Price ceiling or maximum price is the price which is below the market price imposed by the government to protect the consumers or buyers, to avoid higher prices charged by suppliers or sellers or producers. That will be price ceiling or maximum price. Right. The next one, price floor. Price floor. Price floor or minimum price. Price floor or minimum price. Price floor or minimum price. What is price floor or minimum price? Normally, price floor or minimum price will be a price which is above the equivalent price. Price floor or minimum price will be a price which is higher than the market equivalent price, like this. The P2 is Q2. This is the price, is market equivalent price, QAB, then like this. Because of price floor or minimum price, there will be decrease in quantity demand, because people cannot buy as expected because prices are higher than the market price. Government normally imposes a price floor or minimum price to protect suppliers or producers. This is the price fixed by the government to protect producers or suppliers or sellers. Therefore, price floor or minimum price will be a higher price than the market price imposed by the government to protect sellers or producers or suppliers in the market. Right. Again, if I just revise, price floor or minimum price is imposed by the government to protect suppliers or producers or sellers. Then price floor will be a higher price than the market price. Therefore, price floor will be above the market price. If the market price P1, price floor or minimum price will be here above the market price. Then, when it comes to price ceiling, price ceiling or minimum, price ceiling or maximum price, that is imposed by the government to protect buyers or customers, consumers in the market. Therefore, price ceiling or maximum price will be like this. Below the market equivalent price. If the market equivalent price price ceiling or maximum price will be below the market equivalent price, like P3. Because of price ceiling or maximum price, quantity demand also will increase. because of price flow or minimum price, quantity market will come down, but it can be a higher price than market equivalent price. Right, that is part 3, lesson number 2, 2015, regarding price flow and price saving. Right. Then part 4, who pays most of the burden of a specific unit tax on producers when supply is inelastic? Explain your answer using an appropriate diagram. Right. If I repeat again, who pays most of the burden of specific unit tax on producers when supply is inelastic? Explain your answer using an appropriate diagram. Right. Using an appropriate diagram here, that is regarding price. Again, you know, if you take specific unit tax, it can be for a specific product. Anyway, when the government imposes a tax on goods and services, the producers or sellers would like to pass full burden to the consumers or buyers, but they cannot suddenly shift total tax to the consumers or buyers because it's depend on the elasticity of supply. It depends on the elasticity of supply. What is elasticity? Elasticity of supply is the responsiveness of, especially price elasticity of supply, responsiveness of continued supply to a change in price of the product. What is price elasticity of supply? That is the responsiveness of continued supply to a change in price of the product or concerned product. Therefore, producers or sellers cannot quickly pass the burden to consumer via its opinion the elasticity. Here, our question is, who pays most of the burden of a specific unit tax on product producers when supply is inelastic? Explain your answer by using diagram. You know, if the supply is inelastic, that means percentage change in quantity supplies is less than the percentage change in the price of the product. No. PES, price elasticity of supply, equal percentage change in QS divided by percentage change in price. Right? Price elasticity of supply equal percentage change in quantity supply divided by percentage change in price. Therefore, inelastic supply means percentage change in supply is less than the percentage change in price. Percentage change in price. So, suppliers, producers have to take higher burden from the tax imposed on a specific unit or imposed on a specific product. Therefore, as the price elasticity of supply is inelastic, higher burden should be incurred by the producer or seller to supply. Lower portion by consumer or buyers. Then if you draw a diagram to explain that one, Here, this is P in quantity. This is your original supply curve, SS. This is your P and Q. Because of unit tax imposed by the government, suppliers or producers will reduce their supply. Therefore, there will be inward shift or leftwards inward shifts, that is from origin to left side shift from original SS to new SS, like this. Because of unit tax, they will reduce the quantity supply. Therefore, there will be shift from original supply curve to left. Then if we take demand, so like this is demand. In the market, we have equilibrium, P and quantity. No change in demand because change only in supply curve. Because of specific unit tax, suppliers will reduce the supply. Therefore, our original supply curve will shift to left. Then our new price will be like this. That is P1. And our new quantity will be like this. This is Q1. Then when you consider the vertical distance, of these two supply curves, this is the vertical distance. We can take this is a higher portion of the unit tax. Then when you take the vertical distance, the increase in price, that part will be incurred by the buyer or customer because there will be change in price. No, price has increased. Therefore, this part will be incurred by the customer or buyer. This part by the producer or seller or supplier. Then we consider the vertical distance of two supply curves. Then, if there is an unit tax on a specific product, then there will be change in supply. Therefore, original supply curve will shift to left. That is S1, S1. Because of that, no change in demand. Because of that, original price will increase by this much from P to P1. Therefore, this part, the above part, above the equilibrium, then consumer has to bear. But below the equilibrium, there will be higher portion that should be incurred by the supplier or producer or seller. That is a higher part. Therefore, if the price elasticity of supply is inelastic from a specific unit tax, the higher burden should be incurred by the producer or seller. The lower part should be incurred by consumer or buyer. Right. That is how you can explain this specific unit tax and how it does work between suppliers and consumers. That is part. That is part 4 regarding specific tax. Then last part, the following equation describe the market demand, supply, functions of a commodity. The part 4, 2015, part 4, 2015, paper 2, question number 2, part 4. Part 5, the following equation describe the market demand and supply functions of a commodity. QD equal 100 minus 4P and QS equal minus 30 plus 6P. Right. Then here, you are given two demand and supply equations. QD equal 100 minus 4P. 100 minus 4P, then QS equal minus 30 plus 6P. Right. This is our demand equation. This is supply equation. Then finally, you are asked to calculate part A, calculate equilibrium price and quantity using the equation. Show the equilibrium accurately on a graph. Right. Here, the question is part A, 2015, paper 2, subsection A, question number 2, part 5. You are given two equation, QD equal 100 minus 4P, demand equation, QS equal minus 30 plus 6P, that is supply. Calculate the equilibrium price and quantity using the equilibrium, using the equations, and how this equilibrium accurately show on the graph. Right. Then first part A, you have to find equilibrium price and quantity. You know, at the equilibrium, our quantity demanded will be equal to quantity supplied. At the equilibrium, you know, quantity demanded will be equal to quantity supply. Therefore, this is our demand equation, this is our supply equation. Then we can equalize 100 minus 4P equal minus 30 plus 6P. Then 100 you can keep as it is. This minus 30, when you take to left side, it will become plus 30 equal. Here 6P, right hand side, then you can take this minus 4P to left, right hand side from left, it will become plus 4P. And then 130 equal 10P. 6P plus 4P equal 10P. Then for to find P, you divide 130 by 10, that is P, then 13 rupees equal P. Right, 13 rupees will be P. Then market equilibrium price is 13. Market equilibrium price is 13. Then you can apply this P equal 13 to one of these formula. That is either to QD or QS equations. Here 100 minus 4P. Then you can apply this P equal 13 to one of these two equations. If I just select 100 minus 4P, instead of P, you can apply 13 here. Then 100 minus 4 into 13. 100 minus 4 into 13 means 52. 0.3, 12 minus 1, 0.1, 4 plus 1, 5. Then 100 minus 50 equal 48. Right. That is quantity equal, equilibrium quantity equal 48. You know, at the equilibrium, quantity demanded and quantity supplied will be the same. Therefore, at market equilibrium, price 13, quantity supply will be 48, and also quantity demanded also will be 40. Quantity demanded also will be 48 units. You can say 48 units. Right. Here, rupees 13 rupees market price and 48 units. Right. That is the part A answer. You are asked to calculate the equilibrium price and quantity using the equation and show this equilibrium accurately on a graph. Right. Accurately on a graph. Then you can write here P equal 13, Q equal 48. Right. Those are the two answers now we found by using these given details. Right. Then we are going to draw the diagram by using this P and Q, but at least you should have 2 points to draw a line according to mathematics, right? You should have 2 points to draw a straight line. Therefore, you have to find another point separately for demand curve and supply curve. Here, you have to find maximum price and minimum price, maximum quantity and maximum quantity supply and demand. If you take demand equation 100 plus 4 minus 4p, then this is QD equal 100 minus 4p. No, the 100 is the maximum quantity demand. Therefore, you have maximum QD equal 100. When you consider the demand equation, A minus BP, 100 equal to maximum quantity demand. Right. Then you can find maximum price by applying the price with equation. 100 here you can take maximum price. How? When the maximum price will be like this. When you draw this diagram, you suppose this is the maximum price, minimum price is 0. But you have to find the maximum price. For maximum price will be at the 0 quantity demand. Maximum price will be 0 quantity demand. Therefore, you can just apply 0 here instead of QD. Then, when the quantity is 0 price, you have to find the maximum price. How? Here, market equilibrium price P, it will be somewhere here, the center, but you have to find the maximum price. Here, now you know maximum quantity demand of 100, but when the price is 0, you have to find the, when the quantity is 0, you have to find the maximum price. Then, here you can take this equation. If the quantity is 0, 0 equal 100 minus OP. Then you can take this minus 4p to this side, OP equal 100. Then P equal 100 divided by 4, then 25. Our maximum price will be 25. Maximum quantity 100, maximum P equal 25. We found maximum price will be 25. Right. When the quantity is 0, maximum price will be 25. Right, maximum quantity 100, maximum price 25. Then we have to find maximum quantity supply and lowest price. For that, we have to use supply equation. QS equal minus 30, QS equal minus 30 plus 60, plus 60. Then now, you have to find the maximum supply and the minimum supply. Right. Here, this Q minus 30 will represent minus 30 will represent minimum supply when the price is 0. Therefore, in your diagram, it will be like this. If you mark here quantity 100, you can take like this. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100 and 110. The price from, if you take 5 by 5, this is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Our maximum price will be 25 rupees. Maximum quantity will be 100. Therefore, you can just mark this one. This is a demand curve. Right, demand curve. Maximum price 25, quantity 100. We do demand curve. Then this is your supply equation. You can, when the price is 0, you can find the supply by apply 0 to this equation. 0 equal minus 30 plus 6p. Then you can take minus 30 this side, 30 equal 6p. 30 divided by 6 equal p, then 5. 5 equal p. Then here, when the supply is 0, price will be 5. You found one point to draw the supply curve. 5. Then, when the supply is 0, price will be 5. But you should know, when the supply is, when the price is 0, supply will be minus 30. 10, 20, so 10, 20 and 40. Then somewhere here 30. Right. Then our market equivalent price like that. Therefore, you can combine. This is our equilibrium quantity 48, here 48. Quantity equilibrium quantity 40, equilibrium price 13. This equilibrium point, this is our S. Then at minus 30, our supply curve intersects the horizontal axis, that is quantity axis. Then this is our equilibrium price 13, quantity 40. We found minus 30 is the quantity supply when the price is 0. When the quantity supply is 0, price will be 5. Then we combine these points and mark through the supply. This is the highest price 25 and highest quantity demand 100. Then we do the demand curve. This is how we can draw market equivalent price and quantity in a diagram. Right. Next part B of Roman number 5. Calculate producer surplus and consumer surplus at market equilibrium and show them on a graph. Calculate producer surplus and consumer surplus at market equilibrium. Show them on a graph. Right. Then you know what is consumer surplus and producer surplus. Consumer surplus and producer surplus. Right. Even though consumers or buyers have to pay equilibrium price, at the market, there will be higher price. You know, that is the maximum price according to this diagram, 25 rupees. But equilibrium price is 13 rupees. Therefore, this is the equilibrium price, but consumers or buyers are willing to pay this price, 25. Therefore, buyers or consumers can save something. That part will indicate consumer surplus. That is what consumers can save. What is consumer surplus? Even though consumers or buyers are ready to pay the highest price at the market, because of market equilibrium price, they have to pay a lower price. Therefore, consumers or buyers can save something from their expenditure, spending on buy a product. That is called consumer surplus. It will be above the equilibrium. With the highest price 25, this is market equilibrium price. This triangle will show your consumer surplus. That is how you can explain consumer surplus. Then consumer surplus equal, you can calculate like this. Consumer surplus equal the highest price 25 minus the highest price 25, but consumers pay 13, no? 13, then you can multiply by market equilibrium quantity 48. But that is wrong, because when you take 48, it will represent the whole area, but we consider only one part. But when it comes to this rectangle, the width is 48. The difference between 13 and 25 will be full rectangle. But as we have taken half of rectangle, that is triangle, we have divided by 2 this part. Right. Then 25 minus 13, that is 12. 12 divided by 2 into 48. That means 6 into 48. 6 into 8, 48. Balance 4. 6 into 4, 24 and 28. 288. 288 will be consumer surplus. 288 will be consumer surplus. 288 will be consumer surplus. That is the amount the consumers can save from their spending because of market equilibrium 13, but they are ready to pay 25. Then they can save something. That is the difference between 25 and 13. What is demanded? 40. That is consumer surplus. 25, this area, full area, 0 to 25, we are market equilibrium price 13 and multiply by quantity demanded 48. Why do you have to divide by 2? Because we take full rectangle, but our consumer surplus represent only this triangle. That's why we divide by 2. 228. Right. Then we can talk about producer surplus. What is producer surplus here? Producers are willing to supply goods at the maximum of 5 rupees. That is the point where we intersect our supply curve. But because of market equilibrium price, they can earn an additional income. Market equilibrium price 13, but they are ready to supply at 5 rupees. Therefore, what they can have additionally is called producer surplus. Therefore, producer surplus is the amount producers or sellers can have additionally their income than what they expected to obtain by selling their goods. Right. When it comes to this area, the market equilibrium price 13 minus the lowest price they are willing to supply goods 5 and multiplied by market equilibrium quantity supply 48. But here also we take the triangle, but when you take a width of the full rectangle, it's 48, but we take half of rectangle is triangle's area. Therefore, we have to divide this by 2 because we take only this area, no? But we take the width of full rectangle, that is this area, right? Therefore, we divide by 2, then 13 minus 5, 8, and divide by 2 into 48, then 4 times 4 into 48, you can easily take 15 to 4, 200, we deduct from 200, 24, 8. That is 192. 192 will be the answer for producer surplus. 192. How will you take? Equilibrium price 13, but lowest price producers are ready to supply 5 into equilibrium from 48. Why you had divide by 2? Because full rectangle vertical distance is 8, but as we take only triangle area, we divide by 2. Therefore, 4 into 48, 192. That is the producer surplus. Right. That is the answer for all the parts. Question number 2, 2015, paper 2. That is the end of question number 2, 2015.